I definitely want you to teach me poker stuff.
We're back. Are we on?
We're on. I think we've been on. I'm just asking stupid questions.
Oh, yeah? So, Pantelis and I, first of all, thank you for having me back here.
Thanks for coming back.
And we've been talking about poker for the last 15 minutes before starting the very famous Pantelis podcast.
I'm so hyped.
I want to play with you. I don't think we've ever played together.
No.
But
we saw each other.
We saw each other at Playground,
Yeah.
and I think it would be great for us to either play a tournament together or sit down at a cash game table and just play. Maybe stay away from each other.
That's what I would do.
Yeah.
Like even when I go with Josh Shapiro, he owns the Third Floor Comedy Club. Josh goes a lot.
Yeah.
So
and he plays, I think, higher games, if I'm not mistaken. I could be wrong.
He hates. He hates playing when I'm at the table.
Okay.
Because there's only two things about me, and he hates it. He goes, either you're gonna get too friendly because I'm there and you're fucking around and you're not paying attention and you're doing stupid shit that's gonna fuck me in the long run, he goes, or you're too aggressive. So there's no middle ground. But I'm gonna try to be cool.
Yeah. I don't think I've ever played Josh, but I've seen him at PG quite a few times. And look, it's a great environment. They just got, if I could say it off the top, and they were named the best poker room in the world. They
Can I
just
tell
won
you
at the Poker Awards. That's a big accomplishment.
I will tell you, this is why I believe it 100%. I used to go sometimes when it started, remember the casino? When it first became a thing, Texas Hold'em. First became, for me, that I knew that you can go to the casino. And it was never a place that okay, it's the only place that's available, professional, so I'll go. But it was never a place that, I wanted to go. Whereas Playground, despite it being far, I like going.
Yeah, I don't even think it's that far unless there's some kind of problem.
Well, for me, it's far because I live in like Ville Saint Laurent right now.
Yeah.
But I might be moving to West Island. I'll just fucking take the 13.
Yeah, I think look what they've done there. Obviously, you've seen the 5-star restaurants. The hotel is coming at the end of the year.
I heard, yeah.
It's great. It's a great facility. Free food, drinks when you're
keep
playing.
Telling people.
How do you go wrong? How do you go wrong? I don't know about any other place anywhere in the vicinity of where we are here in the Montreal area that offers the same type of gaming experience. So look, I sound like I'm selling PG here.
No. I like people know I have my membership card. I like PG, and we'll talk after because I always wanted, but I never reached out for the French cast, for my French podcast, to work out something with him because I'm there.
So, yeah. We'll
I have one of my other podcasts here. The guy's a degenerate. All he does is live there. So I'm like, this is a perfect opportunity. Everyone knows it. This is a good advertising opportunity. So well talk after.
Wait a minute. Did you just say degenerate? Is that Adam you're talking about?
It's Adam.
Okay. Can I tell you a funny story about Adam? And I don't want to come across this because I'm not a mean person.
You're definitely not a mean person.
But the first time I saw Adam, he came up to me. I was hosting a night at Playground. And he's an eccentric looking guy. and you shouldn't judge a book by its cover. Honestly.
That's what covers are for, though.
Yeah, that's what they're for. And the guy comes up to me in the first 5 seconds, name drops Pantelis, right? But the way he does it is, I swear, I'm going to tell you exactly what I thought. Okay,
yeah.
I'm being honest.
You're like, this is a mental patient.
So it meant like not only that, but a serial killer. Like I don't know. I saw him, and he seemed like a nice enough guy, but he seemed a little off. And the fact he started the conversation by saying, "Adam, I love you. Okay, please don't take this the wrong way," or okay, and because I know he's going to see this, but he comes up to me and he says, he goes, Frank, he says some nice things, and then he's like, I do a podcast with Pantelis, and I completely thought he was nuts. Okay, completely. I was like, this guy's, because I hadn't seen him on the Intellectuals at the time.
He used to be with Guido. Yeah,
I still thought Guido was doing it. I had no idea, right? So he tells me that, and I'm like, I remember the assistant who's always there helping me, Marina, I look over, she goes, who was that guy? I go, I have no idea. But apparently he does a podcast with a guy whose podcast I've been on, which is a top podcast. I go, there's no way this guy is on doing a podcast, right? Then I get home, no joke, I put it on, and I see him. And here's the crazy part about it. He's entertaining, which I get now why you put him on. I used to do this same type of insanity when I was on Vancouver radio. I used to find very eccentric, off the wall people who would normally never get a shot and put them on the air for no reason. And I thought, that's why Pantelis gets it. This guy's hilarious.
He's hilarious. He lives an alternative lifestyle. Yeah. There was a moment on the show, you're going to love this, where I was like, look, you got to get a job. And he's like, I tried to get a job. I went to this place that helps you get jobs. I was like, okay. But she told me I got to fax in my resume. And I go, fax? Do you have access to a fax machine? He's like, no. You have a resume? He's like, no. None of this makes any sense. How are you going to, it's just, he lives like a cartoon character.
Yeah.
He lives in a boiler room. And now he drives
He
his.
lives in a
boiler room. Yeah, I thought he was renting an apartment, but it turns out that the guy put him in a boiler room, so he gives him some cash. That's his rent. And then the guy moved someone else in the boiler room. So there's a whole storyline that happened. We found out because he was trying not to tell us, but the guy said, "Look, I have another guy, so I'm moving you into a closet, and if you want, you can sleep in my room too sometimes." But now all his stuff is still in the room he used to have, but someone else lives there, and he has no access to a bathroom because that's that guy's bathroom.
So there's
now.
a communal bathroom.
No, the guy doesn't want him in his bathroom. So if he has to go take a shit or something, he has to go outside somewhere else. Wild.
Oh my God.
Wild things. Frank,
Yeah.
he lives an alternative life, and he was Guido's friend. That's how I found him.
Yeah, no surprise there. With love Guido, but no surprise. I was like, "Oh, you're friends with Guido, okay?"
First night I met him, Guido's old restaurant.
Yeah,
me, Guido, him, and Massimo, and Poseidon was there too. Massimo wanted to film a sketch. They brought him to play a character because they're like, he's the most weird. Like, you need him. This is the character. I've known him for an hour. Everyone's sitting. They're 3 feet away from me, and he goes, "I want to tell you something, but between me and you, I don't want anyone else to hear." And I was like, "Yeah, they're 3 feet away. That's not how that works. Just because you're saying they're going to hear it." He's like, "No, they won't." And he continues, I don't know if you're going to believe this. I've never actually had sex. I was like, "I believe it." There's no, and I go, "Why are you saying this?" And they know. They just heard you, and they're all looking at him, And then he went on this whole diatribe about how it must be fun, but I never, you're not going to believe this, he said.
Has he since had sex?
We tried.
Okay.
We tried to help him out.
Is he from the community, Greek or
no? He's from a community.
Yeah.
I don't know what the fuck he is, but I think he's Czech.
Okay.
And then we had this whole thing. We tried to get him a professional, and the professional said this was the greatest thing. He beat it off in a condom, and then he tried to have sex with me with a flaccid penis for an hour. It was a horror show.
Yeah.
But she liked him. She goes, he's really non-threatening. He just sits there and talks about his life.
Yeah, I had to tell him, look, I saw him a few times at Playground, and I think he plays the slots. I don't think he's a poker player.
He's a slots
and
guy.
I basically said, look at him. If you hit anything, take the money and, don't come back for a while. Yeah, don't come back for a while. He didn't seem too convinced after I told him that. I said, "I'm going to stay out of it."
We tell him the same. He won't listen. He was convinced that he was in a relationship with a hot lady for months on Facebook. Turned out to be a Pakistani man, and he was sending him money. And we were telling him, this is a Pakistani man. That's why the camera's never working. You never talk to him. They're lying to you. No American chick from Atlanta that I claim is going to send you a message of, "Send me Google Store gift card, please." Like, it's so stupid. And he fell for it. Yeah, he's been scammed a few times in fake relationships online.
Yeah, so at least it's not a scam that he was on your podcast.
No.
So
He's an honest
truth.
guy. He's an
honest.
honest guy. Like, you got to beat it out of him.
Yeah.
But he's a good soul. He's just missing. He definitely fits into the realm of like that of the intellectuals. Like, that's where he thrives.
Yeah, it works.
Yeah,
definitely.
Oh, it's something
Something else, that guy.
we you know what we're gonna have to do? We're gonna have to get together with everyone, with even Jeff from Montreal Only. Montreal Only, that page.
I think so.
On Instagram.
Yeah, Instagram page. Yeah.
We have to get together with everyone, and we have to make a new, we have to become a broadcast. All of us standing by everyone, and just get the best of the best.
I agree.
And match up.
Well, I think we talked about that on the last podcast. How in the States they do that, right?
Yeah.
With Rogan, which you've been on. All those comedians, they work together. They don't work against each other. Whereas what did my platform for 30 years, radio, do? Work against each other. They never work together. So that was more competitive. But I think podcasting works when you're all a family.
Oh,
I think so.
Dude, I keep going down, and they grow every time I go, whether it's in New York or whatever. And we added this person, we did this, and then they take over the whole market, but everyone's involved. Mm-hmm. So everyone's doing well. Their shows are doing well. Everyone knows everyone. Like, they become the community in that city for that sphere, whether it's podcasting, you have sports, you have this. Their only competition is mainstream, which is amazing because you're just smacking them in the face because we could do stuff they can't. We're nimble, right? We can add shows. We can say whatever we want. So
that's the best part, is the freedom of no censorship. Well, at least for now, unless the liberals keep liberaling.
Have you seen this Carnival guy, Mark Carnival?
Yeah, the Carney from the those amusement parks that come every year here in Montreal.
He's helping the liberals, though, in the polls.
Well, yeah, and you know what? This doesn't surprise me in the least, because I knew if somebody like a Mark Carney would be next in line to take Trudeau's job, that some Canadians would be fooled.
And forget about what just happened to them.
Exactly. Forget everything that happened, especially our communities. And it's not to criticize, look, my community is special. And I'm not saying that just because somebody has a different opinion that they're retarded.
Some of them are, though.
But it's like, haven't you learned anything from the past 9 years, from the past 3 years, this decade? You haven't learned anything at all that now we're going to allow this guy to come in? And you just heard him a couple of days ago. I was talking about it on my podcast. He said, we're no longer friends with America. He said that line in French.
Well, I know because it's from your podcast that I heard.
Yeah. And Chrystia Freeland, his only other opponent, said America's a predator, and she said we should align with our allies who have nuclear arsenals. So just in case, this is
insanity.
This is complete insane asylum type narrative.
We're going to nuke our neighbors to the south who can obliterate us.
Right.
Just because I'm angry.
Yeah, and just because Trump is literally playing everybody.
Oh, yeah.
That's what he does. It's art of the deal. It's straight out of the book. All he does is try to get a reaction from you. I always tell people, push aside the derangement. He's the grenade launcher. He pulls the pin. He comes into the room, throws the grenade, and leaves.
Yeah.
That's who he is. And people fall for it constantly. And Canadians fell for it a couple of weeks ago with the whole Buy Canadian scam. That was the new COVID, right? The same thing. It's the same people that are trying to get Elon Musk excommunicated and his passport revoked. It's the same. It's the same 200, 300,000 lunatics. And then
it is wild that they even said that.
Yeah.
Like, I want you to revoke his citizenship or whatever because we don't like someone.
Right. That to me is anti-democratic.
Is.
They think the Elon Musks, the Donald Trumps, the J.D. Vances are the bad ones. And you don't know how many people, Pantelis, have told me recently. I'm sure you get the same type of dialogue from some people, some maybe your close friends. I know some of my close friends.
I was invited to the inauguration, and then people here lost their minds.
That's amazing. I would have gone. Why didn't you go?
I did. I was in Washington. Yeah, dude. And people here were so pissed.
The inauguration?
Oh, dude.
I'll
tell you some stories, but I want to hear this. I'll tell you some funny stories.
I had no idea you went to the inauguration. I would have been there. It's just people think I'm deranged. Yeah. People really think, including some of my closest friends. One of my best friends told me about 2 weeks ago, Frank, the stuff you post is crazy. And I said, how so? Is just supporting Pierre Poilievre, who, by the way, I don't necessarily think is going to be our savior. I think much damage has been done, and he's still. I don't like his whole stance on Ukraine.
I'm with you. I'm with you 100%, dude. And I like that you said he's not going to be our savior, because I'm so sick and tired of people thinking that these politicians are going to save them. All you need politicians to do is take care of their job and have smaller governments to let you save yourself.
Correct.
This whole narrative of they're going to save us, you need to save yourself. And all you need them to do is either tax you less. Like here in Canada, truth be told, with the way our dollar's going and our money's worthless and we're getting taxed to the gills, the only thing that they can do, cut taxes and cut government spending. And maybe in 10 years, the country's going to fix itself.
Yep.
Anything else is suicide. Anything else. We print more money, we're fucked. We give away more money, we're fucked. It's the same thing. We're going to have to print it to make it. Yep. We tax people more, we're all fucked. I bought tickets now to fly. I'm flying Vancouver in 2 weeks again. The tickets, I think, were $200-something. And the fees for the tickets were about the same amount. It comes up to about $600 because they're almost a bit more than what the fucking tickets are costing.
Yeah.
What is this?
That's crazy considering you're in the same country. Now, I know it's a big country, and I know it takes 5.5 hours to fly there.
So is America.
Yeah, so is America. And America has more competition, right? And allows the different corporations or businesses, brands to be more competitive, right? And here, there's just so many rules, even between provinces, right? Yeah. You got to cut all that bullshit. So,
no, but Poilievre, I'm with you too on the Ukraine. I'm with you on all that stuff, and I don't like that he's silent now. Yeah, like I know he's letting the Liberals do their thing, but aren't you the opposition? Say something.
Yeah, well, there's no parliament because Trudeau prorogued that.
And that's democratic.
Yeah, well, that's exactly. And who knows what's going to happen now in less than 10 days when he becomes, because Carney will be the prime minister, right? Interim prime minister. And then an election should be called if the government were to should fall based on Jagmeet getting his pension.
Yeah.
So now he should vote non-confidence. If that happens, we're going to have an election. Now, I totally agree with you. At the beginning of the podcast, you said there's going to be a lot more people that were possibly thinking of voting for Poilievre who now will vote for Carney. It should be a lot closer, but I just can't see the liberals getting back into power. I just can't see it. However, it wouldn't surprise me.
People are more retarded than you think.
Yeah. Oh, I agree with you 1,000%. But at the same time, it's time for change. They did it with Mulroney back in the 90s, right? And they voted conservative and they wanted change. It happened. And I think we need to have a leader, a true leader, that actually sits down to negotiate with the United States and builds the trust back.
They're our best friends.
Yeah, and the relationship again. Not say things like America is a predator. Those are and Trump hears all of this stuff.
Not just that, that's 400 million people. That's insane. 500 million people you just said are predators or we're going to boo their anthem.
Yeah, it's along the same lines as, the Hillary Clinton saying deplorables.
Yeah.
And look, he's one guy. Yes, he's the president. But to me, it's so obvious what he's doing with the tariffs and all that. And I've told people many times, look, he has this incredible disdain for Justin Trudeau, as we do, okay? Yeah. as most sensible Canadians. And he is just waiting for Trudeau to leave. And he wants to see if Carney gets in, we're fucked, honestly. But if conservatives get in, there's going to be negotiation and Trump is going to stop all this because he's seen all the woke ideology, all the garbage that Trudeau has done in the last 9 years. He's fed up. He doesn't want that. He wants, obviously, North America to be the same, right?
Yeah.
And if that were to happen and it's conservative, I think we're going to be on a better road. And I told all my friends that. So I don't think that's crazy. I think calling your neighbor predators and saying that Canada needs to align more with Europe and countries that have always been allies, that have nuclear weapons.
That's such a weird sentence.
That's crazy. Just in case America were to invade us. America will never invade us. We're an autonomous country. It's insane to think that. It'll never happen. And considering who are we aligned with, Britain, it'll never happen.
Not just that.
Zero chance. France, zero chance. You saw him with Macron the other day. They were best buddies sitting down. I couldn't believe it. And I actually saw Macron, who I don't like because he's another liberal wokey. But after that conversation with Trump in the Oval Office, I was seeing Macron, and he had his hand on Trump's knee, and they were all call me, whatever.
Yeah, because he's like, look, we're both leaders of two big countries. Let's talk.
And I have a whole new respect for Emmanuel Macron because I said, okay, this guy is not like Trudeau, even though they're always doing the dick on dick.
Yeah, that's a weird dick on dick hug.
Really weird, right? Yeah. But I said the thing that
they're doing the bridge.
The thing that Macron gets, he knows how to play the game. It's a freaking game. Play the game.
The truth is, when you're elected, it's not about you, fuck. It's about the country.
Correct.
Put your pride aside and do what's best for the people.
Yeah. So that's it. It's as simple as that. And I think all this derangement, especially that you see on X, I can't believe it. Before, I was waiting for you when you went to get the coffees, and I was just looking. It's nonstop derangement, Trump derangement on X. And it's all from Canadian accounts.
Yeah.
And even here, what's that? I don't even want to give them a plug, but Cult Montreal. It's like...
Oh, Cult Montreal. Yeah, I have seen some weird shit that's posted sometimes, but I think it's editorials. I don't think it's like... I think it's independent people that put it.
Yeah.
Because some of the stuff I've seen is weird. It's very politically left-leaning. It's not in the middle.
Yeah. But even the Gazette, a lot of the writers, and the latest thing now is Wayne Gretzky and a traitor to the country.
A traitor to the country.
It's unbelievable what they're doing, and what they have zero tolerance for other opinions. And we're really... I said it in my last podcast. We're at a crossroads. We really are at a crossroads right now. And people say, you hear this line all the time, especially from the left, right? Are you on the right side of history? Yeah, I am. I am actually on the right side of history. Yeah. You're on the left side of insanity.
No, I'm definitely on the right side of history. I'll tell you that. These lunatics, they killed old people. Their politics are all super racist. All the shit they're doing is super, super... First of all, the national anthem. We have been preaching for a long time tolerance, and that's how you should be. You should respect people, and you can't judge an entire race of people by one person. And yet, the second one guy that pisses you off, who's a leader of the United States of America, you're going to boo your own players. You're going to boo someone who has nothing to do with politics. These hockey players have nothing to do. They're not at the White House. You're going to boo an entire nation because you're angry. And the thing about the tariffs that I found out, you know that we also impose tariffs on the United States, right?
Yeah.
To protect our industries.
Yes.
Eggs are like 248%. We also impose 50% tariffs on American cars. We don't even have a car industry.
Right.
But we still do it. It's not to protect ours, it's to make some money. When they threaten to do similar things, holy shit, they're the devil. I'm not saying it's good. I'd rather have no tariffs between us because we should have free trade between us, except for stuff that we need to keep. However, what is this hypocrisy? What is this? Are they booing our fucking anthem because we have tariffs for the longest time?
Yeah. It shows our insecurity. It really is. And, you know, for the longest time, Canada has always had insecure people because America is so big and we grew up watching America, our big brother. They didn't grow up watching us. That's why when you go to America, they can't tell you anything about Canada. We could tell you everything about them and their history. We know everything because we really are part of the family. Yeah. Now, we're not American. We're distinctly Canadian. I'm not somebody, Pantelis, that ever wants us to be the 51st state.
Yeah, it's not going to happen.
I don't want that. And people think, because I'll occasionally put up a Trump meme, Elon Musk, they're insane, right? They see me do that, and they're like, oh, you probably want to be American. As a matter of fact, no, I'm a very proud Canadian. I almost wore my Canada jersey today. I'm a very proud Canadian. This is where I came. Half my family went to the U.S., half my family came to Canada. But I have family and friends in the United States, and I would never boo their national anthem or anyone's national anthem.
I don't boo national anthems, for the record, just so that we're on. I don't boo anyone's national anthem.
I agree.
I even sing the American one because I know it.
Yeah, it's it's a beautiful one. I think Canada, the United States, Italy. I know the Greek one, but
I'm Greek. I'm not going to boo the Turkish national. That's insane. You're booing everyone. You don't know everyone.
And they're so beautiful. That's what
you don't know everyone.
No,
like you're
exactly.
Get the fuck out of here. No, I don't like that. I didn't like it. It looked bad on us when I saw it. And I go, this is so stupid. And the first game I knew it. I said, we're going to lose this fucking game now. Because if I was a player too, I'd be like, what the fuck? What are you doing?
What a game, though, that first game was with the beatings in the first 10 seconds. That was awesome.
But even the final, what I loved about it is when you see hockey at such a high level, every single person on the ice was an all-star. But they were playing to win.
High level.
Oh, my God. It was amazing.
It was unbelievable. I really knew it in my gut that we would not blow that because we have so many talented players. And I thought to myself, McDavid needs to be the Sidney Crosby,
of the Olympics. Then,
and he came through.
He came through.
So now the question is, will we? And I feel we will next year in Milano when we have the NHL at the Olympics. That's going to be our next big showcase. And
against everyone else, Russia should be there. Hopefully, if we could end this war.
What did you think of the whole 4 nations without?
I don't think it means anything because if you don't have, first of all, the Swiss are very good at hockey. The Russians, you can't have an ice hockey tournament without Ovechkin, without the Russians.
Yeah, that's what I felt was missing.
Even the Czechs.
Yeah.
They're amazing.
I know. That's what
Slovaks
I felt was
are
a
good.
little. Yeah. I felt that was a little off, when it came to that. But then again.
Isn't that weird, though? Isn't that another thing that we do that's the left is very hypocritical on this? Because let's say the UFC, you have Russian fighters. Like, they're not, they're human beings that are competing. You're not, by allowing someone to do their job, you're not supporting a war. So, because if they really felt that way, the NHL, like, oh, we hate, then why are you letting the Russian players play in the NHL? It's this weird posturing that's for the cameras that they don't really, I prefer knowing who someone is. I prefer the honesty. So there's some people that, you're not sure, are they bad people, are they racist? I prefer knowing. So I know, okay, you're a racist. I know where you stand. I know that you're not in my circle. Like, you're not for me.
Exactly.
I'd rather know that than be friends with you for 5 years. And then we're somewhere and you're like, yo, this place would be so much better with all these black guys. Like, I'd rather know beforehand so that I don't get close to someone.
Exactly.
I don't like the fakeness. Just let me know. I don't know who the fuck you are. And the NHL does that fakeness where they're like, oh, for the cameras, no, we can't have the Russians because of the war, because this, because of that. Oh, so you're against, of course. But the players can play in the NHL. If you're going to make money off Ovechkin, jerseys, all that they could play.
Yeah.
But you want to show to everyone, and we can't have them in the four. But they're still fucking, it's the same league.
Exactly.
And it's the All-Star game.
Yeah.
So what are we playing? Why are we playing this game?
Yeah, it's definitely better than the All-Star game. That's for sure. They finally found the formula. I would just include, the problem
National
is,
pride is the formula.
Yeah. But if you include other countries, how long would this go on for, right? But
let's do a month.
Yeah. Well, but then players could get injured.
They will get injured.
Yeah.
That's what it is. Let's do a month.
Yeah. But that was unbelievable. Like, honestly, and that's what I turned to my wife, and I was like, she doesn't understand. Like, she's not a hockey fan. I go, you don't understand. I go, if this were the All-Star game, it would be like final score 11-9.
And nobody
would be touching each other. They're playing at full force in the middle of the season with no care about injury. It was just unbelievable to me.
I like national pride. You see, they try to take away people's national pride.
Yeah.
The hockey players still have it.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
But I think the hockey players played for Canada. I think some people tried to politicize it, you know, and saying, even including what's his name, the coach, the Canadian coach, Tampa Bay.
What did he say?
Well, he said something like, you know, they were playing for more than just the hot.
Don't do that.
And I didn't like that, because I really think they're hockey players. And if you meet hockey players and you know hockey players, they've spent all their life playing this since they were kids at 5 a.m. in the morning in those rinks, you know, in their small towns. They don't care. I mean, I'm sure some of them have thoughts and opinions like we do about politics, but they want to win. I don't know one, and I'm close to a few of them, especially one. I don't know any hockey player that doesn't play to win. So when people say, they just take the money, that's not true. They want to win. They have the money. They have all the money in the world.
Especially in games like this.
Yeah, they want to win the Stanley Cup. That is their goal. They want to play for their country. They want to win for their flag, for their country. That's it. Simple as that.
For the record, I too would love to win a Stanley Cup.
I mean, it's not going to happen in this lifetime.
No, never. But I hope my Devils win soon again.
Oh, is that your team?
Yeah, I love the Devils.
Nice. Well, it's not going to be the Habs this year, but
not this year. But you saw they got feisty. I like it.
They got feisty. I think he's flying now, right? Based on his performance at the Four Nations Cup. I think McDavid and the Oilers. I really hope. I want to see it back in Canada. I don't care. It doesn't have to come back to Montreal.
If the Devils don't win it, I would love to see Edmonton win it.
Yeah, I hope
Edmonton like McDavid,
wins.
And I love, I don't like Edmonton. I was there over the summer a bit too. I don't like Edmonton.
You don't like the
I have family there, dude. Edmonton, I have family.
You don't like the geography, or you don't like the people?
I only went in for a couple of days, and I hadn't been since 2004.
Okay.
So completely different life. But I went. Honestly, what Edmonton felt like this summer, and I was there for 3 days, but what it felt like was a city that they gave up on in 1978. It was a little depressing. The mall felt a little run down. I remember the mall being more sparkly when I was there. So little things that I noticed, I was like, man, I don't fucking like this.
But the new arena, everything that they built,
I was outside the arena. The hotel was close to the arena.
The casino hotel didn't.
Oh, I didn't go to a casino.
Okay.
But the city itself felt very let down, like we gave up in the 70s. The architecture too of this place I went to, and it just I felt this sad vibe. Maybe it was just a bad couple of days that I went to, and it was gloomy. Who knows? And it affects my perception of it. But I was really underwhelmed. I was more excited getting there, and then I was like, even the airport with the carpet. Why do you have
it's pretty old.
First of all, it's so hard because your luggage. These airports that have fucking carpet. What are you doing?
Yeah, it feels like it's 1972. Yeah, Warsaw. You know, like they haven't.
Let's just update this. Going to the airport when I was leaving was fun because it was so foggy. We couldn't see shit. You couldn't see shit. I was like, I'm not making it. I'm not even making it to the plane.
Did you were doing stand-up when you were there?
Oh, I had some business to attend to over there.
Okay. So no stand-up. Secret shit. I was curious to know how the crowds were in terms, because I did see it.
I did go support some friends at a show, and the crowds were good.
Okay, good. Yeah, because I heard that Alberta, I lived there for 4 years, but I heard that Edmonton was getting more liberal for whatever reason.
It was very...
Considering Alberta is a very conservative province, right?
It was actually, I did see one funny thing. I saw there was two black guys preaching about Jesus on a street corner, and a trans man, a fat trans man who was yelling at them, and the black guys were like, we said nothing bad to you. They're just saying like, hey, take a pamphlet. They didn't even talk to the guy directly. And the dude was fucking losing his mind. He's like, fuck you and fuck all the other baseball players. And they're like, we don't know what you're talking about. We don't know what you're talking about. And he's talking about baseball players. And he was like a fat guy in not like a sports bra kind of thing. It was fucking insane.
It's great being back here, honestly.
The podcast?
Yeah,
dude.
I love that. First of all, the first time I watched you, what I like about you is, and I'm not sucking up, is it's just a natural conversation. And I think having done radio for so many years, I was always anti-radio from that standpoint.
That's how we found out. That's how I found out, was you telling me this.
Yeah. And I've always liked natural conversations that weren't induced. Unfortunately, radio became that induced delivery, and I hated every second of it, especially my last little while, because I didn't like the whole consultant thing and having to sit down, plan your breaks, So having this free-form platform, and it's the reason why I like doing what I do now, I'm doing a lot more solo casting, is I sit down and I just talk, and it's unbelievable the feedback you get from people, because you're raw and honest, right? And anything can happen. The conversation could turn in so many different directions. I just love, I've seen different people that you've had on, and it just never seems forced. It's always relaxed. It's always chill. You could talk about anything. Man, radio needed to do this 20 years ago, and they didn't.
And they didn't.
Yeah, and I just can't believe, I rarely tune in, but I just can't believe when I still do tune in every now and then, that it's the exact same thing I left 5 years ago, and nothing's changed. And it's a ticking time bomb. It's only, on its last legs. I mean, I hear from so many people that work in these buildings that the revenues are so low and time is running out. And it's sad because it was such a great industry. Anyway, besides that, we're doing podcasting.
It's good that you brought that up, because what I heard recently from the radio people was that their revenues are down, their expenses are still massive, because they have, let's say downtown, our radio stations here. That's a nice building. That's a big building.
Massive.
I think now they're sharing it, the French and English, try to save some money.
There's like 5, 6 stations, whatever.
But it's a beautiful place. It costs a lot. The revenues are down because people aren't listening to the radio. But what bothers me is that the reason why they're not listening to the radio is there's nothing compelling. It's not free. It's all the same bullshit. Mm-hmm. They don't want to switch and be free, be more like this and more engaging and give people a reason to tune in, because they're scared to piss off the higher-ups, which are only scared to piss off fanatical fringe groups who aren't going to really move the needle monetarily anyway. They're not going to buy products. Sometimes they'll listen. Like, you're trying to appease people so that they don't complain about you on Twitter. It doesn't make any sense to me. No. And then the people that would come and would spend money, you're alienating them, and you're just dwindling your profits, and it's tanking, and you don't know who to blame first. It's such a weird strategy. Like, I personally, I said this years ago, I do not care because I'm not forcing you to listen. You don't like it? Complain about it. I don't care. Yeah. I'm not going to change for someone who doesn't like me already. They're not going to listen anyway.
Yeah, exactly.
Why would I appease them?
You don't know how many times, Pantelis, I've said on my podcast when I get those messages, and I always break. So my wife's like, just ignore it. Don't bring it up. I go, no, it's great content. I have to bring it up. And I bring it up saying, but what kind of person are you, okay, that you hate me? You have to write to me to tell me you dislike my ideologies,
Why do you listen?
My thoughts. But this is not like you're in your car and you're listening to the radio, you put it on, and it's like, okay, I'm there. You're more annoyed by me. You have to get on your phone. You got to go to your app. You have to either download it or click. Like, there's a process. It's not instant. So to do all that, and then you don't like the person, who's mentally ill?
Yeah,
you're off your rocker, man.
No, I had my agent. She's like, you need to do a video ad vertical so they could use on Instagram for your show in Sherbrooke in French, my hour. And so I did it. At the end, I go, oh, by the way, I'm inviting people. I go, by the way, if you're easily offended, this is not a show for you. Don't come. So then she's like, that's a bold strategy. Like, normally people don't say, they try to include everyone. I was like, well, there's no point. Yeah. Like, if someone doesn't know my stand-up and they get offended easily, they're not going to have a good night. Right. I don't want them to buy tickets if they're not going to have fun.
Yeah. Yeah, and you should be able to, I mean, people are still canceling shows. I can't believe this. I was, before coming in here, Ben Bankus?
Of course.
He's great. And
he was on the third floor 2 months ago. He did a show over there. Went to hang out a bit. Yeah, he had fun.
He seems like a good guy. We've written back and forth a couple of times, especially during COVID when he was starting his whole thing. But he wrote something today. I didn't get a chance because then I saw you. Something about he got 2 shows were canceled in the Maritime.
Recently?
Yeah, I'm almost sure that I'm going to have to look that up.
Oh, I didn't see that.
Yeah,
God,
today. And I was like, really? Still people are booking him and then they don't know his content? And
No, they know his content. What happens is some people...
Complains?
Yeah, someone complains, and a lot of these small towns, they don't know how to handle it. There's even comedy clubs that I know in bigger places. I'm not going to name them. There's no... I don't have to talk shit, but that do the same thing. If 3 people complain, that we're not going to go to the show anyway. And they'll say stuff like, oh, you have him, he's offensive, he's whatever phobic or bigot or whatever words they say. I'm going to boycott this show, I'm going to tell everyone. And then they panic and they cancel a comedian that would have sold out for people that were not going to go to that show or any show at the comedy club. These are people who don't even consume comedy. Because if you want to cancel a show because it's offensive to you, then you don't understand comedy. Right. So you're not a comedy fan, you're not going to buy tickets for that venue. They're going to appease you and alienate all these people that would have been buying shows. It's so stupid.
Yeah, it makes no sense. And the people that are going there, it's kind of like, it's exactly like podcasting. The people that come to you are your biggest fans. And the people that are going to those comedy shows are real comedy aficionados. They understand, well, they should understand. then again, every now and then you're watching, whether it's you, Sugar Sam, whoever it is, and there's always a Karen in the audience yelling some obscenity at you or getting mad about something that you said, right? So that happens as well, but the majority of the people know what you're about when they're coming to see your show. They're not shocked by your material or what your style is, And
I'm not even that, because I don't do raunchy.
Yeah, you never did.
I never did raunchy. I don't do raunchy. Mine is just I'll touch on subjects. They're real, but people sometimes don't like it. Like I have a whole bit talking about. Did you ever watch professional wrestling?
Ricky Steamboat, Dino Bravo, back in the days. Yeah, but I never got really into it, but I would watch it in passing.
When I was in high school, there was this guy. His name was Eugene. His character he played a mentally retarded man. He showed up, his buttons were at the wrong place. He showed up in a Speedo, and they would beat the shit out of this retarded man up until he gets retard strength, and then he would fight back. So I do a bit about it, and I go how TV was different back then, and sometimes people would get mad and like, you're making fun of that retarded man. I go, first of all, he's not a real retarded man. I'm talking about how they did this, and this was socially acceptable, and you're mad that I'm bringing up something that actually happened. I didn't attack a retarded man. I wouldn't hit a retarded man in the head. I wouldn't try to beat him for the title. But it's just, they get mad at the dumbest fucking things. It's not for them. Then comedy's not for you.
I got lectured about a month ago. I have to find this message about using the word retard on my podcast. And then funny enough, I was listening to Gad Saad and Joe Rogan, and they had like 15 minutes. They were talking about the word retard and how much Gad Saad, who's an intellectual and scholar, loves using that word. Actually, every time I reply to Gad with anything, I always sneak in the word retard just to be and I'm sure he sees it and gets what I'm trying to say, right? But it's like I said on my podcast, I would never actually use that word for somebody that was
actually mentally challenged. Yeah.
I would not do that.
I use it for retarded people, not for mentally challenged people.
And I think when I heard Gad tell Joe, it's like one of the best words out there. It really is.
But
and he goes, I'm bringing it back. And I was like, I've been saying it. I know you've been saying.
Yeah, I never let it go.
Yeah, it's just a word that I don't care. I just say it. Okay, be offended by it. I just think it's one of those words that it truly defines your target, whoever you're talking about, right?
People and things are retarded.
Yeah, they are.
We gotta, because what words are just descriptors, just sounds you make to describe something.
Yeah.
So if you decide we're not gonna say retard anymore, we're gonna say babaluk or make up another word, you're saying the same thing.
Right.
We're trying to communicate information. We're trying to exchange information. We all know what we're saying. I'm not gonna sugarcoat this.
Exactly. It's just a word in the end. There are really only a few words I would never use, right? And that's because I wouldn't want to offend a specific culture or, sometimes when I hear people use the word WAP without papers,
use it all the time.
Yeah, which you saying it would never offend me.
Wait, isn't that ridiculous?
It wouldn't offend me, right? And another Italian or somebody else saying it, but it's when it comes from a place of anger, right? Where somebody's really mad, really mad. It would be like using the N-word or any other word or a derogatory term for the S word for a Spanish person, whatever, Mexican. Then it comes from a place, or Jewish person, the K word, right? There's so many words that are offensive, but I would never use because I'm not trying to deliberately hurt anybody.
I just realized something. That's so funny. You made me realize this. So you know how they say, the N-word. Well, some people grow up using it, so that, black guys and they're used to it. And then I never started. No, it's just a word. I just realized something because of WAP. Because I'm a Greek guy. I'm a Greek guy, so I grew up with Italians, all that. So to us, it's normal. But I just realized that it would be weird if just like an Irish guy starts referring to someone like, look at this fucking WAP. I'd be like, wait, what the fuck?
I'll give you an example.
But it never in my head clicked because it's.
If I'm at a poker table, and this is why I try to never be emotional at a poker table, because there's some nice people at the poker table, but the majority of people are dicks. Yeah. They're not very nice. Some of the people that you meet,
they get really angry.
They get really angry. Let's say, like you said, let's choose an Irish guy out of the blue, would be angry, right? And say, whatever, call me an effing wop at the poker table. And I know it's coming from a place of anger.
That would change your whole demeanor.
That would change my demeanor. Yeah, because now I know, this guy is really attacking me. This is a personal attack, right? But if you're saying it in a way like, he's a malaka.
Yeah, exactly. That's why because of that, I think.
Who cares?
Because the Greeks and Italians, I never noticed.
That doesn't offend me.
Because now you put me in a place, I never heard a non-us use WAP. But if I would, now I'm thinking about it, I go, it would weird me out. It would actually weird me out. But I never had a non like us. Like I never had a non-Greek or Italian use it. So in my head, it's like, no. But now that I think about it, if it wasn't, it would fucking weird me out.
Yeah, like, I'll tell you this story. And my wife would probably not like me mentioning this, but it's my excuse me, my wife's grandfather's brother-in-law, whatever the connection is. First time I meet him, so my wife is half Danish, the family in Calgary, and I meet her, I guess, I don't know what it is to her, but anyway, let's say a great uncle, right? And he's Danish, like literally out of Copenhagen, been here for over 80 years, and her grandfather, who passed away just about a year ago, total gentleman. This other gentleman, a little different. And the first time I met him, I swear in the first 10 seconds, I was in shock. He called me a wop.
This is hilarious. He's a Danish guy.
Yeah. And I was like, and I couldn't help it, but I just started laughing.
Oh, I would have died.
And I turned to Steph. I go, you realize he just kind of like, that's the N-word for Italians. He just did that.
I don't know if there's an N-word for anyone. The N-word is very unique, but I get what you're saying.
The N-word is next level. But what I'm saying is, anyway, he said that. And then I turned to Steph's uncle, who I love, her Uncle Johnny, and I look, and he's just giving me a look like just let it go, right, type thing.
That's so
because he didn't laugh when he said it. There was obviously some displaced anger.
What is it? Like, about another wop home?
Yeah,
like that.
I can't remember what the where it came from. All right, the meaning behind why he directed it at me, the insult. But I was like, I just turned to my wife, and she's just, and I just dropped it, right, and then we just found out later that he's just not a very happy guy.
Oh, he's just angry. Oh, so he is angry.
He's always, yeah. He's
I thought it was just being edgy.
Like in other words, my wife goes, let's say you were gay, he would have used a very derogatory term on that, right? So he goes, doesn't give a shit. So I go, so he's Archie Bunker, basically.
Yes.
Yeah, he's Archie Bunker. He's exactly it, right? So I laughed, and I go, you know what? From a different generation, if you watched All in the Family, which I did growing up, it was fantastic. TV shows like that would not survive in 2025, but it was incredible. I used to watch it all the time as a kid.
I don't mind anything. As long as it's not, like, I care about real racism, real hate. I don't give a shit about words or, me, it's all about, like, the actual context.
Yeah.
That's all I care about.
Yeah.
I don't give a shit about anything else. Same thing, like we were talking about WAP, like, it's this, right? If someone's, you're fucking around, like, me and the WAPs are hanging out, or it wouldn't faze me at all. But if I hear, like, what you said, someone's like, fucking WAPs living in my building, then I would take it different. I'd be like, that's weird. It's all in context. The word doesn't bother me. It's how you're using it.
Well, I mean, Carol O'Connor, Archie Bunker, who played Archie Bunker, he played a racist, right? That's what he was on the show.
Hey, that's what you're calling him.
That's what he played. And it was brilliant the way he'd say, like, I saw a clip recently where he was talking about one of the neighbors on the show. And he goes, well, oh, geez, Italians. And then he didn't stop there. And he goes, oh, he's a damn wop or something like that. And I thought, wow. But then he used, Sammy Davis Jr. was on that show. Yeah. And he used the N-word. And
I used it, and I don't even know Sammy Davis.
Meathead Rob Reiner was on that show. He played a Jewish man, and he used the very bad word back in the 70s that they would use to
the K word you're talking about.
The K word, right?
That still exists.
Yeah, that still exists. So, but he would, every word. I
found out where that came from. Now I forgot.
If you watch old episodes, I don't know if you ever watched All in the Family.
I did. My mom loved it.
Yeah, if you watch it today, it's. Back then, I didn't even understand 90% of what I was watching. You watch any of the reruns today, and you're like, oh my God, what am I watching? And you know what? It's amazing. It's amazing. It's the best dialogue, the best scripting.
Because it was realistic for the time.
And Norman Lear, with all those shows that he did, were great. Golden Girls and
Golden Girls I like.
Jeffersons.
The Jeffersons are good.
Sherman Hemsley.
That was when TV was good.
Yeah. And they all broke out from... they were all spin-offs from All in the Family.
You know how you know that All in the Family and all those shows are good? If you remove the laugh track, it's still funny.
Yes.
Whereas you look at now, like fucking Big Bang Theory, I saw videos of they remove the laugh track. Horrible.
Yeah. Pantelis, I can't even name you a show today besides, like, we watch, example, we just finished watching Beast Games. That Mr. Beast?
Oh, I never watched it.
Oh, yeah. Okay, listen. You have to watch it. It's fantastic. And I'm a game show, reality show, Big Brother kind of guy. Yeah. My wife and I were blown away by how good this guy is. not only is he a fantastic YouTuber, but what he was able to do. By the way, in Toronto, they filmed it.
Oh, is that where they filmed it?
A couple of months back, yeah, because a friend of mine was a cameraman. I thought it was Los Angeles, but that's the type of shows that I watch. Even though we're supposed to start now, White Lotus, whatever, or the second season.
White Lotus is amazing.
It's good. Yeah,
you saw the second season?
No,
they're in Italy.
I haven't.
You're gonna love it.
Okay, so
Third
I haven't
season's
seen
coming
that.
out.
But can you name me any other show on the level of a Seinfeld, Cheers, MASH, All in the Family?
Curb Your Enthusiasm.
That's a fantastic show.
Yeah.
But that's just came to an end. Okay,
Yeah.
but and it was on cable as opposed to network
It was
television.
HBO.
Yeah, but okay. Besides
Network
that, Larry
television
David, very
right
good.
now?
But like honestly, I can't name one. I can't name one good show that is a comedy-based show that I can't. And
Comedy, I can't.
And it's the same thing with music, you know? And it's not to put down, because I made a couple of comments after the Super Bowl about Kendrick Lamar, and I got some messages from people who were fucking furious at me. And I was like,
Let's address this.
But I don't get Kendrick Lamar. I personally don't. I like Dre. I like Ice Cube. I like even Eminem, you know, but Snoop Dogg.
I never got a chance to say this because I saw it online that people were like, if you didn't like Kendrick's performance, you're a racist. You do realize that that's an insane lunatic statement. You don't like it, so you have to be. First of all, that I thought it was stupid for many reasons, but the diss tracks on Drake and all, this is the Super Bowl halftime show. This is supposed to be a fun for everyone type of party thing. You have other songs. There was other ways to do it. Like, how did Dre and everyone do it the year before?
That was amazing.
It made it fun for everyone. It was an experience. It was a vibe. This was the diss track that we've been hearing for 6 months.
Correct.
That is nonstop. You just played it again. That's why people didn't like it. It has nothing to do with them being racist.
No, it had nothing to do with race. And if you watch all those reaction videos, you ever see the Generation Xers, the boomers?
Yeah, they're just standing there.
And you hear the rapping going on. They're just looking at the screen. But no, it's because you have, I mean, how can you have U2, the Rolling Stones, Michael Jackson, Madonna, whoever played in the past, have
Dr.
all these,
Dre, and
Dr. Dre, Snoop Dogg, Eminem, 50 Cent, and then go to Kendrick Lamar.
And Kendrick Lamar is amazing. He's a lyricist. The way he writes, it's not the proper venue.
Correct. And to me, look, I've always liked Kanye better than Kendrick Lamar, personally. Okay, in terms of artistry, yeah. But I wouldn't put Kanye West on the Super Bowl,
especially not now.
No, well, especially not
now. You just look at the owner's box.
Yeah, especially.
You're like, I know you're mostly Jews.
But besides that, I mean, I'm talking about sheer music talent, and not only that, in terms of universal appeal. You know, you want to have somebody that is for everything, right?
I like Kendrick Lamar, but there's venues there's certain comedians. They're not for certain venues.
Yeah, and the Super Bowl is not. And look, this is what I said on my podcast, and most of the people, I guess, you get an occasional person disagreeing, but most of the people are on your side. You know, when the list, and it just came out last week, the ORCHAD list comes
I didn't
out,
see who's coming.
and everybody gets pumped about who's coming. So all those years I was doing the morning show with Tash back in my radio days, they'd have the list that around this time of the year, February, that would come out. And then Kendrick Lamar, and everybody would be like, oh, I can't wait, Kendrick Lamar. And I'd be like,
I don't know who that is.
What the fuck's Kendrick Lamar? And then as he got bigger and bigger, I knew who he was, but he never really had big hits. Okay,
he did,
but
he did. But if you like that music, I know all the hits. I like that stuff.
If you follow the urban charts, what they're called in radio, yes, and I knew who he was.
Is that what they call them in radio? The urban charts.
The urban charts.
You guys are hilarious.
Yeah, and so back in unless they changed that too. They may have changed it with Aunt Jemima and the Redskins and all that. But anyway, so I looked down the list, and I did the same thing this year. And I was like, The Killers. Well, like, I love The Killers.
I know The Killers.
Every other artist on there, I have no idea who it is.
But that's what happens.
Right? And the same thing with Kendrick Lamar back in the day. And I thought, am I the only one missing something? I just don't get it. Maybe ask your nephew, Mano.
He'll know.
Yeah, maybe
actually, he hates music.
He hates music. Okay. Yeah. Well, that's rare in this generation.
Very rare. It's very rare, and it's crazy. We've talked about it many times. I don't like that he says that. I think he's a psychopath. He's going to kill cats.
But last year, I went to ORCHAD. You know who I saw? Even though they're woke and their politics are exact opposite of mine. Green Day, fantastic. I love them. Okay, even though whatever. Yeah. I put that aside because I could do that. I've seen them many times before. Loved it. And Smashing Pumpkins.
I love the Smashing Pumpkins.
Fantastic.
You saw them here in Montreal?
I saw them here in Montreal with my buddy.
I wish I saw the Smashing Pumpkins.
There you go. And to me, those are the type of artists, okay, it's not the Super Bowl, but ORCHAD is a big event, that I'm going to be blown away from, that I'll be looking forward to seeing, the Coldplays.
Anything good this year?
I only saw the Killers on there. I would go see the Killers. I didn't see any. I saw a couple of other bands that I recognized, but again, not something that would blow me out of the water. But anyway, with Kendrick Lamar, I think we both agree that next year they have to come up with massive.
You know who I like? Oh. I'm a big fan of The Weeknd. I like The Weeknd right before he popped off.
Yeah.
And I was trying to push him on my friends. I remember I had CDs. I was putting the radio in my car at that time, early 2010s or whatever it was. And my friends at the beginning, they're like, what the fuck is this? And then the second he got radio play, everyone became a fan. I'm an OG fan. So he's coming this summer. Big outdoor crazy show.
Saw that.
Mike got tickets. He got like a booth or whatever.
Okay,
so I'm going to get to go see him.
Yeah, I like The Weeknd. But I think he has, but I don't think they should go back-to-back Kendrick Lamar, The Weeknd. I think
that doesn't make any sense.
No, I think they need a Prince. They need a, even put Madonna, somebody, Rolling Stones.
You talking about the Super Bowl next year?
Yeah, you need
Madonna is disgusting. Prince is dead.
Well, you know what I mean. You need a generational act. When they put Michael Jackson, I went back.
You know, honestly, who would be the best? And you're gonna hate this. Taylor Swift.
Yes, I actually mentioned that on my podcast. I said Taylor Swift would, as much as not a fan. Okay,
it makes sense. The NFL knows her now. The NFL fans know who she is. She's one of the biggest recording artists.
I agree.
On the planet.
Yeah,
she could have a show and a fun. The whole Eras tour. Everyone loved that stuff.
That's exactly who I mentioned on my podcast. I go, you know what? Even if I'm not, I respect her writing abilities and all the other stuff, whatever. But that's the type of generational artist you'll have performing for your Super Bowl and would work. But I think she's going to wait a couple of more years. I think she's still
too close,
too big. And a couple of years when everything dies, all the MAGA Taylor hate kind of is pushed to the side. She'll be doing it. Yeah.
Because I'm a Lana Del Rey. I love Lana Del Rey.
She's great.
She's one of my favorite artists of all time. But that's what I'm saying. Different. Lana Del Rey, as much as I think is one of the best artists around, I could listen to her all day, does not fit for a Super Bowl. You don't want to make people sad at the halftime show.
No. Lana Del Rey wouldn't work. I think what would work is the same way they did, here's my idea, same way they did Snoop, Dre, Eminem, 50 Cent. Why can't they do a mishmash of rock artists or pop artists or, like you said, artists like Alana and then a bunch of them doing a couple of songs back to back that all fit within.
And something that, a duet that you never saw before.
Yes.
So like a song that a pop artist has, but also Lana's there. We like some rock bands playing it. Yeah. Maybe Metallica.
Something like that. I think people are ready for. Metallica has never played. U2 has played. I'm just off the top of my head.
I think U2 played. That seems like the kind of venue they would do.
Michael Jackson,
I'm surprised
Rolling Stones.
They never got Metallica. Metallica was the biggest band in the world for a while.
Metallica, I can't remember.
Maybe back in the day. I don't know.
Yeah, but I think that would be great. And you could do a Heroes of Rock type thing, and just have the best of the best. You have Foo Fighters, Metallica. You could even get Geddy Lee and Alex Lifeson without Neil and put one of their drummers like from Foo Fighters and do it.
I like what would work is a good like rap song that everyone knows, like a poppy one, but all the instruments will be playing by the rock band, like a famous rock band. Let's say Metallica is playing a hit for Drake or Dr. Dre or something. That would be insane. Hearing it rocked out, but you have the other artists singing their parts.
Singing it. Like almost like a Run DMC and Aerosmith. Didn't they do it?
Yeah, that was so fun.
Yeah, there you go. So that kind of stuff.
I like if you mishmash good music, it's very fun.
Yeah.
It's like good radio. Mishmash fucking two radio hosts.
You never did radio, but you told me
only
last
interviews.
Time that you wanted to do it, and
early on before I started the podcast.
Exactly.
And then I started, and they're like, nobody gives a shit about like people saying what they want to say, and how good they do. And then I did the podcast, and they're like, what is this? This is stupid.
But isn't it great to hear now former radio people?
They shut down.
Yeah. Former radio people. Like, even I watched a recent episode a couple of weeks ago, Terry and Ted, and they're having the time of their life.
They were here today. That's what they said. They said, we're having fun again.
And it's not that they didn't when they were on the radio, but you can't even compare the stuff that they bring up on their podcast in this environment to radio. I mean, half of the stuff that they say, they would have never said in 40 years. It's just
never. They would have got fired if they tried.
They wouldn't have lasted a week. Yeah. And it's not even controversial.
And it's nothing. That's what I'm saying. It's not even controversial.
It's not even controversial. But the whole point is it's honest. right? And they'll start talking about whatever it is, or Ted with doing the morning show, right? It's I know, just it's freeing, right? It's just you feel I can say whatever I want. I don't have to self-edit.
Which is crazy, by the way. That's how you get the worst out of creative people, is when you put them in a box. And he had his own stuff, Ted. He would get in trouble for the dumb. Like before, it's different. From what he told me, he was an asshole. He was a hothead when he first got fired. I think the big gig when he was with Terry and Ted. I think he told the guy to go fuck himself. I think he told his boss to go fuck himself. Something like that.
Well, I know the guy he told, and
that's what he said, right? He told him to go fuck himself. He's
something
fucking
like that,
hilarious.
Yeah.
But the last controversy, it was literally a nothing. Somebody called and complained. I think he used the wrong pronoun, or he said, or it was International Women's Day. He said, we'll celebrate women. And then you can't say that. It was something so stupid, non-threatening, non-aggressive, non-phobic. So I think he's fighting it in court, from what I heard.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, he's like, fuck that. That's wrongful termination. Ted. Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that.
They're like, it was just something so benign. It wasn't an aggressive thing. He didn't say anything racist, or it's just being Ted. But that's the thing. People panic. They'll get a phone call from a lunatic. And they'll be like, the guy said this word.
You know, I had something similar about a year ago, and my main sponsor, I have two sponsors right now, Líderes La Frena, which I brought you, right? They got a couple of messages, which I believe is the same person.
Yeah,
right.
It always is.
It's just, you could tell, because then they show me the message, right? And they're like, I was like, ignore these people, because whatever they're saying, go back, listen to anything I said. I've never said that. They just get this illusion in their mind, right? Yeah. That Pantelis is this guy because he says things that I don't agree with, so he has to be
everything I don't agree with,
boxed in this category. Yeah. And that's it. And it's unbelievable, like you said, that they'll go out of their way to try to interfere with your livelihood. It would be like me walking into whatever store, cafe, something, you know, with a vendetta to get the worker and say, I want to take this guy down.
I'm taking this barista down.
Yeah, unless
stupid vegan. I love meat.
Exactly.
So this guy needs to suffer because I love meat. How about you just let him love his fucking vegetables and you do your meat?
That's it. So I think that is the danger of the world that we live in, and everything that we've ever discussed, you and I, on this podcast, number 2 together, that hopefully will be changing in the next couple of years with the different people who will be leading us. Because if we continue down this road, I was talking about this on my podcast, it's 2 roads diverged in a forest, and I really believe it's good and evil. And if we continue down this road of evil, there's no coming back. We need a reset. We really do. And not that kind of reset that's coming in a couple of years. We need common sense to return. And people, that's another word that if people like us use the words common sense, oh, here we go.
How's that offensive?
Here come the far right people, right? That's another one. So we just need to get back to normalcy. It's like, can I just live my life, enjoy my life, government stay out of my life, less taxes, let me live my life and enjoy? Can I just do that? Or are you going to make it so insanely impossible for me to lead a normal life because you're trying to invoke all this stupidity and shove this stuff down our throats that we don't agree with?
The force thing is what gets me, is people are just like, hey, don't force me to do weird shit, or like, why are you forcing your ideology on me? I'm not forcing mine on yours. Just do your thing. Why do I have to? What do you care what I think or what? Fuck off. Yeah, that's what I don't understand, is the forced ideology thing. It's like, just do you.
Yeah.
Everyone's never going to accept you. Everyone's never going to accept me. Mm-hmm. I'm not going around door to door being like, you have to accept me. You have to fucking accept me. Like, that's crazy. Yeah. That doesn't make people want to accept you. That makes them resent you.
Even more. And considering everything people have fought for over the years, civil rights, women's rights, and how now...
That was a mistake.
And now all these other people,
everyone across the board, they're gonna, and the thing is, they'll make stuff up. So instead of, okay, you're a man or you're a woman, you have rights, you're a human being, they'll be like, but I'm part raccoon. I want raccoon human, but it's not real.
It's not real. It's all to feed their delusion, right? Yeah. And we have to participate. And if we don't, we're the homophobic people, the racists.
That's the thing. They'll call you a homophobe for like, this guy identifies as a hippopotamus. I go, that's not even trans. That's not gay. That's not. Why? How am I homophobic? That has nothing to do with anything.
So that's the scary. It really is scary. Yeah. So I think once we get the right people, hopefully we get the right people in power, this stupidity will end. And once the stupidity ends, we'll be back on a road of, as I said, normalcy, where we could live our lives and not have all this stupidity just suck the life out of us, because it's every day. It's nonstop. I've thought about going off, but I can't. What we do, we can't go off social media.
That's the problem.
But I thought about going off because it's nuts. It's the cuckoo house. You go on there.
I've been having just more and more fun with it lately. Yeah. Like, I just don't take it for a while now. I just have fun. I don't care. Like, I used to be affected if somebody would write something and go, fuck this guy, and I know it's not real. Like, they'll be like homophobe, and I'll be like, dude, I'm Greek, okay? We made it trendy. Shut the fuck up. But it used to, but now I don't know what happened, where the disconnect happened. I don't care. It's funny. I'll send something to Mike and we'll laugh. Like, I don't care.
Yeah, that is the best strategy, actually. My wife says it all the time.
But it's hard to get there, because at first they used to bug me.
Yeah.
And then now I'm like, it's just, I don't know. I have my life to live. I got to pay rent. I have my job. I got to take care of my family. I don't care.
Yeah. The best thing you could do, as I was saying, my wife reminds me of this all the time. Just ignore her. You know, she's like,
gets them mad.
Even though Joe Rogan is next level, she goes, "You think Joe Rogan is answering his haters?" And
I'm like, he doesn't have time, bro.
I go, first of all, he's got 50 million tweets on X.
50 million reasons not to,
right? And she goes, "Okay, well, it doesn't matter what level you're at. Why are you answering? You know, what good are you going to get out of getting into this debate with somebody that you don't know, that is sitting in their basement, you know, eating some fucking hot dog and in his underwear, arguing a point that is going to be irrelevant in an hour," right?
Yeah. Also, you can't argue with stupid people.
No,
because their goal is to argue.
Yep.
Your goal is trying to prove a point. You're like, hey, have you seen it this way? But they don't care about proving a point. They don't care. They'll argue because they're coming in just to argue. They're not coming in to find some truth. So all you can do is waste your time and energy. And it took me years to realize that. I go, wait a second. Like, when something would happen, I'd be like, do you see? Now it's proven I was correct. And then they would still be like, oh, and I'm like, okay. So you don't care about truth. It was never about that. It was just, I don't like this guy. I have to argue with him.
Yep.
So then why am I doing this? No, I don't subscribe to that. I like to have fun, enjoy myself. I don't hurt people.
Yeah.
And that's it.
I think people who intentionally want to hurt people, those people I can pick out right away.
But all these cancellations, I wrote an article so that I can get this person fired, and let's boycott this store because they did this, or they're this race or whatever. It's lunatic stuff.
Mm-hmm. It's the stuff that we were told as kids, at least my generation, don't do that stuff. You know, it's the rat kind of stuff. It's like, you don't squeal on your neighbor. Remember that a couple of years ago when people were calling the hotline and try to, it's the kind of stuff
that
like
was some disgusting behavior.
Disgusting shit. And I learned that very young growing up, right? It was just like, in Italian we say fatti fatti, like, it's none of your, like,
mind your fucking business.
Mind your fucking business. Like, just stay out of it. Or sometimes if you know something, it's probably better you don't get involved in whatever shit, you know, that might lead you to worse circumstances later because you said something and opened your mouth. Nobody asked you, shut up. So.
Yeah, and that's how I live. Nobody asks you, shut the fuck up. And especially if it's not threatening anyone, it's just you trying to get involved. Like the neighbors thing, he had an extra person at his house. He's not allowed to. Let me call Who the fuck are you, man? Just shut the fuck up.
Well, if anything, Pantelis, that exposed truths and how people really are.
Okay. Scumbags.
So I was thinking about this on the way here, saying back in the day, so you're what, millennial?
Yeah. I'm a millennial, I'm 38. Yeah.
Back in the day, I'm sure, you don't remember your parents having arguments at the table about politics. I don't.
Never.
Ever remember it. And I think back and I say, how about if in the 80s or 90s we had social media? Would things have been different? Probably. Because people have always been the same. We just haven't had these platforms exposing everybody's truths, everybody's stupidities, right, as well. And so this didn't exist back in the day. Now it does. Everybody, their brother, sister, and dog are on there arguing and all that, so everything is exposed.
Yeah.
But if that was just removed for a moment, we wouldn't even know what your thoughts are about anything unless we had a conversation. And chances are, people would probably accept you and go, oh, okay, you're
in a
conservative.
Conversation, you could understand it more. Yeah. I know but now it's like a label. It's, let's say, a conservative. Oh, you're conservative. That means, and in their head, they go, that means, I don't know, you're evangelical, you want to kill women, or you want to put them, like all this weird shit. Like, what are you talking about? Yeah. I want the government to tax me less and to be smaller, to waste my money and leave me alone. I don't want the government to be involved in anyone's business. That's what I want.
Yeah. Like I remember once my parents, and Italians always voted like Greeks liberal, right?
Yeah.
I remember once my dad's one of his best friends. They came in for dinner and they introduced the idea of voting for Brian Mulroney, the conservative, which was like
unheard of,
sacrilegious at the time, right? And I think my parents ended up voting for Mulroney, I think, and people were starting to change. There was no, and that discussion happened with aunts and uncles, and I remember there was no arguing, there was no debate. It was like, okay.
Yeah,
it was as
well,
simple
yeah.
as,
What does he bring to
okay.
the table? Okay.
Like, okay, that's it. So now it's literally what you said, is I've had people, and again, I shouldn't care about this, but sometimes I do it for fun because I'm bored, and I'll go and I'll say, I haven't seen this person online in a while, this former colleague, whoever it is. I go, this person for sure unfollowed me. And I look and I go, and I was a shocker yesterday. I saw somebody who unfollowed me, who we used to golf, play tennis together, really liked, and I was like, wow, the person unfollowed me. That's why I don't see, and I purposely went to 3 of their posts and just liked them without having to write, and I noticed we hadn't spoken in a while, but there's an unfollow. So I know that the stuff that I've been posting bothered them enough to unfollow me. And that's, I'm not going to say painful because I'm not a weak man, but there is a part of me that is bothered by that because I think back and go, oh, really? All those times I helped you with your career, I encouraged you, I may have visited you in the hospital, really cared about you, was always there, and then now
because I think Trudeau's a bitch, we can't be friends.
Because now I have some hate for Trudeau because I think he's ruining this country. I may have posted other memes about America, whatever, other thoughts and opinions. You unfollow me that easily. Stuff's like, my wife, who cares? I was like, no, but Steph, that's not the point. The point is, how weak is a person that they have to do that? Like, that would affect, to me, all I see is liberal shit from people that I worked with. I've unfollowed nobody because I look at them and say, okay, that's their opinion.
Yeah.
They haven't seen the light, okay? Stevie Ray Vaughan, they haven't seen the light yet. And maybe they'll never see it, but that's okay. But to them, it's instant cancellation. Fuck this guy, unfollow, I don't like him. I know
he doesn't exist.
I know, because then I've heard from other people who talk to other people, oh yeah, they think you're crazy.
Isn't it nuts though that some of the arguments
guy.
that now are same thing during the times of the vaccines, that now that it comes out that we were fucking right when we were saying, it's so silent, it comes out and then it's like, oh yeah, they don't want to talk about it. It's like, at least say, don't even say I was wrong. Say like, oh, I see now, I should have done my due diligence, I should have been more patient. Nothing, they just pretend it doesn't happen. I brought it up to a friend who was very much vehemently opposed to everything I was saying. When I was saying, maybe we should wait, maybe we're not doing the right thing with the old people, maybe these masks are bullshit, like the 6 foot, this is all made up. And then when Fauci comes out and says, he's the one who fucking started it. He's the one who said the 6 foot thing. He goes, the masks, we didn't say it's going to work. I don't know even who came up with that. It's like you, literally you. There's videos of you coming up with that. Same thing with the vaccine. No, we didn't say it was going to stop the spread or any of this. There's videos of you guys saying this. There's, we said it was, I know there's problems now, but we never said it was all the way safe.
Yep. Everything's been proven. Everything. What they did to Robert Malone, everything is 100% factual that he said. You could look it all up. And then you got to wonder why.
They never apologized.
Never apologized. Never mind to us, to the people that
forget
really.
Us. Just go out and be like, we may have overstepped. They can use the excuse of, look, we were under a lot of stress. We panicked.
Yeah.
But they won't say it. They just pretend, oh, fuck, just pretend it never happened.
And to me, the real surprising thing is Biden on the way out pardons Fauci.
Huge.
Nobody talks about this. Oh yeah, just let it go. So I mentioned that to several of my friends.
Yeah, what'd you pardon him for if he did nothing wrong?
Why would you pardon a guy that did nothing wrong? So a pre-pardon? Wow.
Why? What are we going to find out? What's inside us?
So what's going on here? What are we missing? And then, a president should never abuse his powers, and he pardons his son as well. It's just, there's a double standard.
Huge.
And I always say it. If Elon Musk, who voted for Hillary and Joe Biden in 2020, and then he got red-pilled and went over to the Trump side because they were crazy. If Elon Musk voted for Kamala Harris, he'd be a hero now. SpaceX, Starlink, Tesla, all his innovation, tech giant, he'd be a hero. And they'd push
innovative salutes.
Yeah, and they'd be pushing the fact, the guy's got Asperger's, the guy's a genius. Whatever it is to make their side, associates with Trump, destroying him on every level, his credibility. He's insane now. And they have no problem telling you he's insane. and he has Asperger's, which is okay.
They're like, he's a fucking insane retard. Yeah, they're calling him a retard.
But if you attack Greta Thunberg, maybe not anymore, but God forbid you touch somebody like that. But now Elon Musk is a target because of Trump. That should tell you everything right there you need to know. You don't need to even further discuss this because that tells you everything right there.
My last point is this. I don't care if you're left or right. Who's ever in charge doesn't like you. So vote. Exactly. They don't give a shit about it. So just vote for what's the best interest in for you and your family. And normally, in my experience, it's been smaller government, less taxes, let you take more money home. Houses are cheaper. Buying stuff is cheaper. And you're able to build something. The way we've done it in Canada now is completely messed up. Look at Quebec. Let's say they tax you close to 40-something% of your salary, depending on how much you make. So already there, half your money's gone. Then every time you buy something in Quebec, it's another 15%. So now we're at what, 55-65%, depending on what. Now you have fucking 35% left of the money that you worked for. That then they're gonna anything else. You make a bit of money, they're gonna tax that too. The capital gains they added, the carbon, like you're getting taxed everywhere. And it just bothers me that they're so used to it that people are like, that's normal, that I work all these hours and I get to maybe keep 20% of what I made. Why? Why should they have their hands in your pockets for 80% of your money?
Yeah.
Why?
And then what you should be even more concerned about is something we mentioned at the top of this podcast is how you're dispersing. We're just dispersing $5 more billion to the Ukraine, like it's nothing, right? And we have Trudeau yelling "Slava Ukraini," and he's a madman. If you bring it, you're gonna freak when you see him say that. And you see the passion he has for Ukraine. How about bringing back some of that passion to Canada and helping your own people?
Or how about you put that passion into peace talks, because it's not a game. These people are actually dying.
Correct.
The Ukraine is losing an entire generation of young men.
1.5 million deaths, if I'm not mistaken. That's crazy. I didn't even know those stats till I heard them, and I was like, that many?
And we're cool with it because we don't like Russia and we're selling weapons and we're doing this, so we're cool with it. These are human beings that are dying.
And God forbid Trump sits down with what do you do with the enemy? You keep them closer.
Yep.
So, of course, he said in the next couple of weeks, Putin's coming to the Oval Office. He's going to talk to Zelensky's coming to the Oval Office. Why is that a bad thing?
That's a good thing. We need peace. I want the economy to do better. Yeah. We need people to stop dying. I'm all for peace. Yeah. Why would I want to kill all Ukraine? It doesn't make sense. Why would I want to sacrifice the Ukraine just to make Trudeau feel better? It doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
Anywho, point is, Freeway, your podcast is awesome, and I have all the links in the description so that people that don't already listen to it will listen to it. And we're going to talk after this podcast about playing some poker together.
I hope we do, honestly.
We will.
Yeah, sooner than later.
I think we're going to join the same tournament this week.
And I have a feeling you're going to take my money.
No. No. You're
like the Greeks always do in Park X.
It's the Trojan horse.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
We've built this prison cell 'cause we can't trust ourselves.